Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I hope you had time to grab a drink, stretch your legs for the next session. We've had an exhilarating first half, and we now move on to the second half. Before I do so, I would like to introduce you to our second keynote speaker, who is Dr. Riane Eisler. Dr. Eisler is the president of the Center for Partnership Studies, and she's renowned for her Chalice and the Blade, Our History, Our Future, which has been published in 27 foreign editions and 57 US printings. Including her other works include Nurturing Our Humanity, How Domination and Partnership Shape Our Brains, Lives, and Future. Gloria Steinem called her the real wealth of nations, creating a caring economics revolutionary. And Nobel Peace Laureate Archbishop Tutu hailed it as a template for the better world we have been so urgently seeking. Dr. Eisler is giving us an interesting talk. We're moving away from the dichotomy between capitalism and socialism as models of governance. And she's done a lot of work and research and has been speaking about partnerism. Here we are in the week of the World Economic Forum Davos agenda that has been speaking about stakeholder capitalism, for example, versus shareholder capitalism. So this is the time for new ideas and new thinking. And we're delighted to welcome Dr. Eisler to share with us her own views. Dr. Eisler.
Riane Eisler, as you know, and I've devoted my research, writing, speaking, and activism, as Amina said, to help us shift to a more equitable world. And this is my life's work. And the passion I have for it is deeply rooted in my early experiences as a child Holocaust refugee fleeing with my parents, my native Austria. A passion, I should add, also animated by our unprecedented challenges: climate change, terrible inequalities, a global pandemic. However, this is also an opportunity to make fundamental changes. So I want to tell you about these fundamental changes, about accelerating the shift from domination, man over man, man over woman, race over race, and so on, to partnership, to relations guided by mutual accountability, respect, and caring. And in the short time we have together, I want to focus on how we can and must shift from an economics of domination to a caring economics of partnerism, as detailed in my book, The Real Wealth of Nations. Now, the first step is understanding that capitalism and socialism are outdated. They came out of early industrial times in the 1700s and 1800s, and we're in the 21st century post-industrial era. They perpetuated an economics of domination, where caring for people was just women's work, to be done for free by a woman in a male-controlled household. And nature was to be exploited with nothing about caring for our life support systems. So somehow there's never enough money for anything stereotypically considered feminine, like caring for children, people's health, keeping a clean and healthy environment. We have to change this gendered system of value. Financial terms. For instance, companies regularly listed as Fortune 500 best companies to work for have a substantially higher return to investors. Nations such as Sweden, Norway, Finland, which were so poor they had famines, are now in the highest ranks of the World Economic Forum's global competitiveness reports. They are not socialists. They have thriving businesses, and that's precisely because they invested in caring for nature, cutting carbon emissions, for example, and caring for people in policies like universal health care, high-quality child care, generous paid parental leave, and so on. And not coincidentally, they have the lowest gender gaps, with women in top national leadership. Indeed, statistical studies show this relationship between a higher status of women and national economic success and a higher quality of life for all, which takes us to the third step, changing our measures of economic health. GDP is a mess. It includes activities that harm, even take life, selling cigarettes, unhealthy foods, plus the resulting medical and funeral costs. They're great for GDP. But GDP fails to include the huge economic value of caring for nature and for people, despite reports like an Australian one showing that if the unpaid caring work in households were included, it would be 50% of the reported GDP. This is why my organization, the Center for Partnership Studies, is developing new metrics, a social wealth index, which differs from both GDP and most GDP alternatives, as it's geared to our knowledge service age, showing the enormous economic value of caring for people starting at birth and caring for nature. A team of economists is developing this index so that business and government policymakers finally have the missing information they need to make sound and equitable decisions. And I should add, so that women who still perform most of the care work for free or very low wages are no longer the poorest of the poor worldwide, and everyone has a better quality of life. So I invite you to join me in this movement from domination toward a caring economics of partnerism. And there's more information at centerforpartnership.org. Let's build a new partnerist economics that supports caring for ourselves, others, and our Mother Earth. Let's do it for our children and generations to come. I thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Eisler. I found that fascinating. And your deconstruction of the old systems of governance was fascinating. Moving away from systems of dominance, as you call them, which were created in the Industrial Revolution. And here we are, how many hundreds of years ago? And we need to come out and create new models. This is a time for new thinking, and we thank you for that refreshing discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's a pleasure and an honor.
Thank you.